All right,
All
yeah.
right, we are here with a KA Garden City Breezy Point legend, Tyler Gorman, the biggest Giant fan that I know. And obviously, this is a huge week for the New York Giants. They finally did it. Gorman, they finally fucking did it. They got rid of Brian Daboll. And I know it's a pretty controversial decision, but I want to hear from you. What is your first take, pretty much, on the big move from the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, so like going back to like off season and whatever, like I was kind of anti like firing Dable and Shane. Like, let's keep the regime. Like, I think we thought we had the quarterback, and I think we're right. And I think Dart's the guy. He's the future. He's undoubtedly, the best rookie quarterback in my opinion in the class. And I was like, let's let Dable develop him and see what he has. And he wasn't the plan wasn't for him to play right away. So learn from Russ, the veterans in that room, and so I was like, yeah, he did it with Josh Allen. Let's see what he does with, with Dart. And obviously, like, he's been great. Like, he's been great all year. He's been, hasn't turned the ball over, and he's made good decisions. And he needs to learn to slide. Obviously, he's got 4 concussions. He's gone to protocol 4 times,
Oh,
which is ridiculous.
that's
But
absurd.
yeah, I mean, I just thought like the reason why he got fired wasn't because of the way he was handling Dart and the quarterback situation. It was the way he was handling the team overall. Like, if you're going to be a competitive football team, great. Like, we don't want to lose games. Obviously, we haven't been good in God knows how long. So, we've had 6 head coaches in the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And Dable got to the point where it's like, yeah, he's handling the quarterback situation well, but he's not winning games like down the stretch. Like, poor usage in even last week's game. Like, this is I think the reason why he got fired is you're on the 1 yard line. It's 4th and goal. You're up by 7. You know. Long field, like the punts, like you see it, like
Yeah,
we didn't have a good punter. Gillen shanked the fucking punt at the end of the game, and that's part
exactly.
of the reason why they came back and won. Like, you go for it there. Like, trust your defense. They can stop 99 yards of the field. Don't kick 3. Like, be aggressive. And like his decision making, the defensive coordinator's bad. I think he should be gone too. Shane Bowen is
Horrific.
atrocious. The
Horrific.
play calling down the stretch in these games. He got fired because he's losing games. Like, he's not finishing. They're good for 3 quarters, and they get to the fourth quarter, and they fall apart every single week. It's like I'm watching the game. I'm like, they're not going to win this game. Like, the same thing's going to happen. So I think it's the right decision firing him. It's for the best interest of the organization at this point. Like, you've been losing. Like, great, he was the coach of the year his first year, but like past 3 years you started 2-8. Like, that doesn't cut
Yeah.
it. Like, you can't go 2-8 and then like try and claw your way back. That's not how the NFL works. So like, I think firing him is the right call. Obviously, it sucks because he's been such like he was great for us that first year, and I don't think it's all on him. I think he's still a good coach and is going to go somewhere else as probably a coordinator or go back to college. He came from
Yeah, I saw
Alabama.
that.
Like, I could see
Yeah.
I could see him going back to college and getting one of these big time head coaching
Penn
jobs,
State. I saw that
like
today. That'd be
Penn
perfect.
State. Yeah, I think that was all blown out of proportion though. His son is on staff at Penn State, so they took those pictures and like, oh, Brian Day was going to be the head coach at Penn
Yeah.
State. Like, that's not what that is. Like, he's always had ties to Penn State, so I don't think that like that picture was anything like of substance, to be
Just media
honest.
blowing it out of the water like they always do.
Yeah, I just think it's weird that there's people outside of the guy's house taking a photo of him. That
It's
was my
so
first
weird.
thought. It's
That's just
so
how it
weird,
is.
but
That's how it is in
I
New York
know,
now. Like it's
I know
crazy.
it's harsh, and some people can't handle it. Like, it's a very tough place to play, and
Yeah.
but I think it's the right decision overall, and the team's trending in the wrong direction, unfortunately. So
No, I know
that's what
that.
I think.
My problem though with the Giants, right? Like they've been struggling the past couple of years ever since the whole amazing, immaculate kind of crazy run from Daniel
Yeah,
Jones
what a
in
year!
2022.
What
Unreal
a
year.
year!
Unreal year. And like obviously you have to ride that out. You paid Daniel Jones after that, and that kind of caused you to lose Saquon. But I feel like ever since then with the Giants, like this team like they've just been a mess, a complete mess, right? But what you had to do in the offseason after you cut Daniel Jones, right? You got rid of him. You got away from that contract, and obviously the team was trending in the wrong direction, right? So you would imagine they were going to draft a quarterback at some point in this year's draft, which they did.
Yeah,
But the problem is now there's so much pressure going into the season with the head coach. What you should have done is just started with a fresh slate. Why would you go into this season with Brian Daboll knowing that if you have another bad start, he has to get fired. The media is going to kill him and eat him alive. And
yeah,
instead of starting fresh with a new coach and a new quarterback and a new GM, now they're at a spot where look what happened. Guys got hurt, team's falling apart, It's
That's the
not
problem,
Daboll's
though. I
fault,
mean, guys don't
but
stay healthy for us. I mean, I feel like we're cursed. I feel like the Jets,
don't
neighbors
say
goes
that.
down and
Oh, don't
neighbors
say that.
neighbors goes
Oh,
down like OBJ style with his knee, like against the Chargers. Like it's the same team, the same place of the game. Like it just feels the same. Like and then Scatterboo going down. Like those two guys are the spark plugs of the offense. Like
they're
the
not there.
offense hasn't looked the same since Scatterboo went down. The
No,
offense was able to somehow overcome neighbors going down but Scatterboo, they haven't been able to figure out. They haven't been able to run the ball at all. The run
Tracy's
game has
looked
been
horrible.
Tracy's look terrible. The
Oh,
offensive line gets no movement up front. They can't run block to save their lives. Like there's no we're averaging like 3 yards a carry. Like that just doesn't get
well,
it done in the NFL. And like Dart's the best rusher we have, and now he's not playing. Now we got to start Jameis, which I actually do think is the right decision
you have
because
to do that. You can never start Russ
coming
against.
in with an interim head coach, like he has a fresh slate. It's his team now and he wants to give the guy who hasn't played. We saw Russ; he looked like shit every time he's been out there. Like he had that Dallas game, which is like, oh my god, this is vintage Russell Wilson. Like, but then you can't win the game. It doesn't matter. Everyone,
No.
you don't remember the 450-yard performance and 3 touchdowns. You remember the stupid pick he throws in overtime into double coverage, trying to force the ball downfield to neighbors. Nobody remembers the touchdown with 17 seconds left. Like nobody remembers that Wandale Robinson 4th and 10
No,
touchdown. Nobody
no.
talks about that
Incredible plays though.
because your defense incredible plays.
Oh
The
man.
game should have been over. Like you don't remember those plays because Russ turns the ball over, and then you're coaching. Part of the reason why Daboll gets fired is because there's 17 seconds left. They're playing 30 yards off the ball, and
Yeah.
they're not even getting hands on anybody. They walk down the field. They have the best kicker in the league. He's able to hit a 64-yarder at the end of regulation to keep the game going on. And then you put yourself in overtime. You don't get the ball first. It's like the game's over.
With the
The game's
salary
over.
cap that you guys have invested in on that defense and the fact that they've been honestly that poor and
The
that
defense has been
awful,
horrible. You don't have to
horrible.
sugarcoat it. The defense has been
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean,
They
like
have their moments,
the only
but
big time
like
player that really has stepped up is obviously Brian Burns. He's been
Burns leads the
unbelievable
league
this
in
year.
sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, are we serious with the Abdul Carter? Are we
I
serious?
I don't buy I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
I'm sorry I have to bring it up. Like he's been like
No,
he's
no,
awful.
no, Kuzi,
Come
no, he's
on,
not.
dude.
Yo,
He's
no,
done
no.
nothing. He's the third pick. What are we
He
doing?
leads the league in pressures. He
Okay.
leads the NFL in pressures.
I
If you
mean,
watch the games, I ask you on Sunday when we play Green Bay, watch him
we'll
play
see.
football.
They have a
Watch
depleted O line. Their
watch
O line, they just lost their best offensive lineman, so we'll
yes,
see what happens. He
watch
better
him
have
play football.
at least a sack. Give me
Watch
one.
him play football.
We'll see.
I'm telling you, what I've watched. I've watched every game. I watch every snap. I don't miss a thing. I watch no matter what, and he is so impactful, but it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He's great against the run. He's great against the run, and he's really done a good job in a lot of the stunts that they've set up. He's helping Burns out get these. He's helping Burns get these sacks. If you watch, there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, and he's the one kind of taking the tackle away from the outside so Burns can wrap under and grab the sack.
I
He
get
he's
that.
not he's making the impact. I get it. You look at the numbers and he's got one sack. It's like, oh, he's a bust. He's a bust. He sucks.
I'm
I
not saying he's a
understand that.
bust. I'm just saying, like, I mean, you're the third pick in the draft. I'm expecting you to be like everywhere on the field, like just like a
Yeah,
complete difference
I
maker.
understand.
That's what
I
I feel like.
understand.
That's where the line should be for him.
Yeah, I
You know,
understand, and that's like I think he is capable of doing that. But again, like you said, there's a lot of money invested up front there. Like you have four guys who can get after the passer, like Burns, Kayvon, Dexter, and Abdul. Like those are four like very good defensive linemen. Besides that, that's where the problem comes into play. We're the worst against the run in the league. We have no depth on the inside of the on the defensive line. We signed two guys this offseason, Nacho and Roy Robertson Harris, who have been atrocious. They are terrible against the run. They're getting drilled into linebackers. And we drafted a guy in the third round who hasn't made an impact.
yeah,
Darius Alexander out of Toledo. Like he's just made no impact. He's
yeah.
made no impact.
All right,
And that's
so
the problem.
going off what you're saying right now, who is the guy that you think can kind of like just fix most of the problems with this team? Because there's so many. But who is the guy that you believe is going to step in and kind of just fix the direction of this franchise? Because I mean,
So
it's a huge
I've
list, but like, who
yeah,
would be your
we're
top
this
choice?
season's a lost cause. This
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, and obviously I have a little bit of bias. This should be the most attractive head coaching opening this offseason,
Out of
in
college and
my
the NFL.
opinion. Out of college, I mean, I'm not even talking about college. I'm
All
talking
right,
about
yeah,
strictly the NFL.
that's
Like,
fair.
Like there's the core pieces are there. You have the quarterback, you have your receiver, you have your
They're
franchise left
close.
tackle,
They're
who,
close.
by the
That's the
way,
problem.
nobody talks about. Andrew Thomas has been the best offensive lineman in the NFL since week 2. He hasn't given
Yeah.
up a single pressure all year.
You can
He's
see the
been,
difference too. It's crazy, like
and
how much
yeah,
time
if
guard
you look
has
at
when he steps
numbers,
back now. It's
yeah,
crazy.
like so there's the core foundation of a good team is there. It's young, it's under contract, it's team controlled. Like the core is there. I've heard so many names floated around. Like I honestly fully haven't wrapped my head around who I want. I'm very anti Mike McCarthy.
I
I,
saw
I
that. Not a fan of that.
I don't want Mike McCarthy to be our head coach. I don't really know why. I just don't. But I do think that we need somebody, whether it's at the college level, whether it's at the NFL level. I do think we need somebody who has head coaching experience.
I love that.
We the
Yeah.
last 3 or 4 hires that we've had: Ben McAdoo, Pat Shermer, Joe Judge, Brian Dable.
No
The
head coaching
last four
experience.
guys, first time head coaches.
Yeah. It
The last
rarely
time.
pans out. I feel like it never pans out unless you
Yeah,
have
and
a
I think
loaded slate.
right now, my personal number one candidate, and this is a kind of a pipe dream because he's technically still a coach somewhere else. My dream is Matt LaFleur. That's what I would
Oh, I
love.
could see it. I mean, he's honestly on the hot seat right now. His
He's on
play
the
calling
hot
has been
seat, and
horrific.
he has 1 year left on his contract.
I think he might want to leave. There's too much pressure on that fan base. They hate
I
him.
think that they might have to part ways with him, and if that happens, I would
Oh,
love to
yeah.
see him be the next head coach of the Giants.
He will be the hottest head coach candidate by a
Yeah,
mile.
yeah.
By
I think, and
anyone
I
would
also
love to
do
have him.
think that I think Dable could get a head coaching job.
I think yeah, I agree with that. I could see that
I think
happening.
there could be a world where I could see him getting a head coaching job.
He was
I
screwed
don't really
over,
know
I
how to
think.
feel
This
because
whole situation was, I mean, no head coach could survive in this situation. The injuries that he's had
uh,
this year and the
yeah,
whole Daniel Jones and Saquon situation the past 2 seasons has been just a complete disaster. A
yeah. It was
disaster.
just time for a change because you have all that
Exactly.
looming over him and Shane's head, which I don't know why they're letting Shane lead
That was
search
the
for this
next thing
head
I was going to
coach.
ask you. That's a
Um,
joke that he's still the GM.
yeah,
Why would you let him
I've
have
heard
this
like
power? I,
he
what are we
look.
doing?
I think he's done well. He's made mistakes. Obviously, the number one mistake everyone likes to talk about is Evan Neal. He's
The
been a healthy
fireable
scratch.
offense.
Hasn't dressed one game this year. He's been a healthy scratch every single week of the year. My problem, and this is what makes my blood boil every single Sunday watching the New York Giants play football, is Deontay Banks.
That's another big miss.
He is so bad at football. He can't cover anybody. He literally is so bad. I don't know if it's the way he's being taught because I feel like all the corners we have are horrible, but it's either technique or he's genuinely bad. He doesn't turn his head around. He's so like slow on breaks and breaking on the football. He's always like 2 steps behind. He needs to be. This is it for him. He's a first round pick. The experiment's over. It didn't work. Move on. We have Cordell Flott, who stepped up great, a third round pick
Phillips has been
three
amazing.
years ago at LSU, and Drew Phillips, I think, is one of the most underappreciated corners
Yeah.
in the NFL. Like, and then you sign Paulson Adebo. You pay Paulson Adebo all this money in the offseason, and he's hurt, and
Yeah.
Holland got hurt, and like, we're on our linebackers are done. Like, it's just like you can't even make it up.
You want to know what the Giants need? And I feel like so many fans are gonna say this. Like it's the most like AI answer. It's the most like random fanboy answer. Like no ball knowledge. Everyone's saying it
Yeah.
about every head coaching vacancy. You know what I'm gonna say? They need Gruden. That would change everything. Him and
No,
Dart would be the greatest duo we've ever seen in the NFL. I mean, what he would do with that offense, it would be the greatest show on turf.
look,
They
I'll
would
put it
be
like this.
unbelievable.
I I'll put it like this. I'd rather have Lane Kiffin be the next head coach of the New York Giants than John Gruden. I think the Gruden thing is, look, he's been out of coaching for a while. He's dealing with all this bullshit from the NFL and
Yeah.
whatever, and the lawsuits that are still ongoing. So I don't think there's any chance that he gets any job unless it all gets worked out legally. And I just don't know how long that process is going to take. It would be awesome. Like it'd be fun to watch. Like he's a fun personality, the New York media would eat him up. Like
Come
he
on,
would
dude.
fit right in with like
Press
the
conferences
dark
with you.
personality. They'd be awesome. I mean, they'd be so fun to watch. But I don't know if that's the best football decision for the Giants. I don't. He's been out of coaching for what, 5 years now.
Yeah.
Like, you never know. He's getting older. Like you kind of. I almost want to like Clint Kubiak. Like, I would love to see Clint
That's
Kubiak
another
possibly be
guy.
the next head coach. Like he's turned that Seattle offense into one of the most powerful offenses in the NFL.
He's
Like
making Sam
he's
Darnold look
38.
like
It's
Joe
it's a
Namath.
first. It would be a first time head coach, but like I think that he's done a great job, and he's 38 years old and he's young, and like I do think honestly right now my I'll give you my top three right now. I would say Matt LaFleur is number one. If that could happen, obviously that depends on some stuff. I would say Clint Kubiak. Kubiak is two, and then I'd probably say honestly like Robert Saleh is three. Something about Salah. I understand you're a Jets fan, and I understand that's hard to. But if we're not going to go the offensive way, I think Salah is my number one choice because I think he commands a locker room like pretty well, and he's a great defensive coach. I don't understand. I don't know why it didn't work in New York. He could be more of a coordinator.
I can tell
But
you why. I can
yeah,
tell
I'd
you why.
like to hear. I'd like to hear.
Because it's the Jets. We know this. We all know this. But you
Yep.
know what? If the second you say that, like my initial reaction is like, you can't. There's no way.
Yeah,
But
because you've lived it. You know what
exactly.
it looks like.
But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, he was not as bad as people think
Yeah.
because the whole Aaron Rodgers thing was a disaster. That's not on him. That's just the
If I
Jets
mean, who
luck.
knows if what happens if he doesn't get hurt? If Rodgers doesn't tear his
That
Achilles,
team's
like where does that
defense,
season go?
that was the best defense
Yeah,
I've ever seen in my life for the
you were
Jets.
losing games like 10-7.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
if
you
we
were.
had if we had Grant Weymouth at quarterback, just someone competent that can just get the ball to anyone. Just get the ball to receivers. Just
Yeah,
spread the ball around. Like do anything. We win 10 games that year. Like
I
that's
mean, yeah,
not
your
on him.
defense was. I don't think this is even a debate. I think it was the top three defense
Yeah.
in the league that year. Like,
And the problem that happened the next year is that they fired him way too early. Like we
yeah,
lost a couple of brutal games in the
and it
beginning of the
was
season
over. Yeah,
because
0 and
Greg
3,
Zuerlein
right?
was
0
who
and
the hell
3, 0 and
knows.
4. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean we were coming back from London. We were 2-4.
yeah,
We just lost a heartbreaker again, and we
yeah.
fired him. Like that, you can't do that. It's just a Woody Johnson masterclass of a
I mean,
move.
that's kind of what happened with Brian Dable here. Like, it's
Little
you're
different.
2 and 8. It's different,
They've
but
been
like
bad for a while now.
it's been
It's
bad for a while, yeah. But I mean, similar, like coming off just like a rough game, and like he, John Mayer probably heard it from the media and was just like, like he was like, I don't know if this starts questioning himself, whatever. And he said it himself last off season at the end of the year last year. He said, I'm sick and tired of losing, and I've just about had it. So these guys are on a short leash. So I'm happy he stuck to his word. I do think that he's a horrible owner, and I think they should sell the team. He has his family way too much involved in everything. His two sons are like the director of player personnel and like chief of staff of like the front office, like, or something like that. Like they need to step away. Like you can be the owners, but like hire professionals who have done this for a living to do the job, not just your family because it's your family. Like at the end of the day, it's a business. Like like
believe me. You don't gotta get me riled
everybody
up
loved
about
Brian
this.
Dable. The players loved him. Like like Jameis said it today. Like he wouldn't be a Giant without like Brian Dable. And all I've heard throughout the week is they're very thankful for him. And it's cookie cutter shit, but like these guys loved him. And but at the end of the day, it's a business. You're 2 and 8, and you've been 2 and 8 for the past 3 years. Like
That can't
you
happen.
have to make a change. It
I agree.
sucks, but like you have to take your kids out of the front office because I think that's where the problem really does start. So until that changes, I don't know if this franchise is
Oh,
going to be successful. I
believe
really
me,
don't.
I know what you mean. I mean,
Yeah,
if you heard the last podcast, I kind of went off about that with the Jets,
yeah,
how we have a kid by the name of Brick Johnson kind of running the show, it seems like, which is you can't even make it up. You
yeah.
really can't
It's
even make it
it's
up.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy.
ridiculous.
But
Yeah.
no, I agree with everything you just said. It was you can't start 2-8 3 years in a row. Like I don't care what
No,
the circumstances are, and I feel like the losses over the last couple weeks, like these are games that could have gone the Giants' way, and you're in a whole
the
different
Giants
situation.
should be 6-4 right now.
Regardless of the injuries, like this, there's no excuses. Like you need to
Six
be
and
able
four.
to figure it out in the NFL.
Six
There's
and four.
no Like there's no second chance. Like you have to be able to just finish these games. And the way the Giants have been playing at the end of these games, like it just looks like they're not bought into this whole
You
situation. And
you're
it's
up by 18 against Denver with 6 minutes to go. You find a way to lose that one. You're up a
that's the
touch.
worst loss of all time.
You're up by three against Dallas with 17 seconds to go. You
Another
find a way to lose
despicable
that
loss.
one. Find a
Oh,
way to lose
God.
that one. You're up against the Bears. You you know
Who had nothing
Down
going the
by
whole
10
game.
points, but nothing. We were
Dominating.
defense played a fantastic game for 3.5 quarters. 3.5 quarters. And then you falls apart at the end and you lose the game. The Saints game, you go up 14-3. It's like, oh, everything looks great. You turn the ball over 5 times in the second half on 5 consecutive drives and lose the game. You deserve to get fired if that's how your team is going to react. If you close the game in those 4 games, you're six and
A whole
four,
different
and you're
season.
an NFC. You're in the wild card race. You're
Yeah,
you're in the middle of the wild card race, and everybody
exactly.
has their job, and it's all good. But like,
It's
no,
crazy.
you couldn't find a way to close games. Your defensive coordinator and your head coach are incompetent at their jobs, and they blow these games away, and that's how you end up losing.
Yeah.
That's how you end up losing and being 2-8 instead of being 6-4 or anywhere in between that.
And just the losing culture that has kind of lingered over the franchise over the last few seasons, I feel like you just need to escape it. You need a fresh
Yeah,
start. I wish they
yeah,
would
we
have
need
done
a
it in
fresh
the
start.
offseason. That's the main thing. You should have reset in the offseason so now you don't have to have an interim head coach. Look again this offseason.
Yeah,
You know, that's
I
that's
was a fan of keeping him. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't. I
and
was
they
a
had their
fan of keeping
chances. They
him.
had so many chances this year to prove themselves.
Yeah, like it's a couple bounces here and there, and you're a much better team. So I think firing him was the right decision, but I also don't want to put all the blame on him because I really don't think it was all his fault.
Yeah.
He maybe should have done some different things, here and there with maybe being a little bit more involved in the defensive play calling. Obviously, Daboll's an offensive guy, but it's not all on him. Injuries and players just not playing well, and it's obviously it all looks back on him, but I really don't think it was all his
Yeah.
fault.
Tyler Gorman, it was an honor. The Giants obviously made some insane moves over the last week. They finally cut ties with Daboll, and thank you so much for that reaction. Anytime the Giants, any rumor comes on or comes
Yeah.
up at some point,
Bring me
you will be
back.
on the
Bring me
show.
back.
Yes, you will be
Oh
here.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
for coming on the pod. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Appreciate it.